Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Shield TV. I'm your host, Darren Ryan. This is some WWE talk today. Jey Uso finally winning the Intercontinental Championship. That was great to see. Jey worked his ass off for about 14 years to get up to this point, and he finally defeated Braun Strowman, became the Intercontinental Champion. Kudos to you, Us. You well deserved. Then on top of it all, lately, hell of a Raw, hell of a SmackDown. NXT's been on fire, cooking. So hats off to Shawn Michaels and Triple H for what they're doing with WWE right now. All the talent that's getting brought in from AEW, New Japan, basically all around the world. They're bringing in the best talent possible, which opens it up for NXT to bring these, in my opinion, megastars to WWE. Most recently, had the signings of Motor City Machine Guns, formerly were in TNA. They are well familiar with AJ Styles. So they're getting brought in. There's a hold right now on the Lucha Brothers from AEW. Tony Khan has put a year onto his contract due to injury. Tony Khan recently offered both him and Penta contracts going forward, and they both didn't sign the contract. So, in my opinion, Tony Khan's pulling like something that Vince McMahon would do if somebody wanted out. So I say after about a year, you're going to probably see the Lucha Bros in WWE. That's one place it was rumored they were going, was to WWE. So I think this is showing that AEW, with all the talent they're receiving, they're losing talent right now as we speak. They lost Ethan Page. He's now your NXT champion. And then now with the Lucha Bros coming over. So, I mean, at first you had Cody Rhodes make the move to come back. Then you had Jade Cargill. And then now you got Ethan Page, NXT champion. And then now you're going to be having the Lucha Brothers. So, kudos to what Triple H is doing. Really, really big fan of everything he's doing with WWE right now. So ain't got to worry about Vince McMahon. Him and his documentary series. Don't plan on watching it. Not a fan of the dude. Glad he's fucking gone. But ringing in the Paul Levesque era, WWE, I'm all for that. So last Saturday, I was talking on my show that I think that there's going to be a ladder match. This coming Friday, there's going to be a ladder match. And this one is, in my opinion, is epic. You got the 3 best tag teams on SmackDown right now battling for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on SmackDown. So you're going to have DIY versus the current champs, the Bloodline, the new Bloodline, Rogue. And you're going to have Street Profits. So the belts are going to be hung above the ring, and they're going to be fighting for the belts. Are you confused about a ladder match, man? This is a WWE podcast, so I am talking wrestling. Unless you're upset that there's going to be a ladder match. But I like it. Bring on the intensity. You know, raise the stakes. I mean, at this point, you start revamping the tag team division. You're going to have great tag teams, more than what you've been seeing lately. So you eventually bring in the Lucha Brothers. Eventually you're going to see Motor City Machine Guns. Hopefully you're going to see the Usos back together again, Jimmy and Jay. Hopefully the New Day can turn around, because Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are a phenomenal tag team. So hopefully they turn things around. And then you just have Guerrillas of Destiny, aka the Rogue Bloodline. You're going to have DIY. You're going to have Judgment Day. Not really a fan of Finn and JD. I prefer Finn Balor as a singles competitor compared to him being a tag team competitor. That's how I've always known Finn Balor. And with more news for upcoming SmackDown, AJ Styles is supposed to be making his return. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if Styles is going on this path of being by himself, or is he finally going to come around and actually, do something with the OC. That's one thing I've been wanting to see, is like the OC as a unit going up against the Bloodline. But so far, you really haven't seen much of the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Mi Chen's doing her own thing in the women's division, and Styles has been MIA. So hopefully the OC gets revamped, because I'd like to see some WWE version of Bullet Club. And hopefully we see on Raw. So hopefully we're going to see Braun Breaker take the step forward that he needs to after losing the Intercontinental Championship. So I think what's going to happen is Braun's gonna do something to Jay, and you're gonna see them have the match at Bad Blood. So Braun's gonna get his rematch at Bad Blood, and Sami Zayn, I think eventually he gets in Gunther's head. He gets a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship at Bad Blood. That's one thing that's eating away at Sami Zayn is he wants that the top title on Raw. And I think, judging by what he said, we're going off his last match with Gunther when he beat him for that Intercontinental Championship. I think he's got Gunther's number. And I think Gunther's afraid that he's going to get beat by Sami Zayn again. And it's like what Bret Hart said. Dude's a coward, running from a good fight with Sami Zayn. So I think he needs to do Sami a solid and needs to let this match happen instead of letting Kaiser, fight his battles for him. And it said the reason why Giovanni Vinci was on this losing streak has been because of punishment. So apparently, the rumor is, he was flirting with Kaiser's girl, Tiffany Stratton. They are together outside of WWE. They are together. Apparently, he was making moves at Tiffany Stratton, and that didn't go down so well. So punished him, and then eventually told him, like, hey, dude, you're going to get beat up, and you're no longer going to be part of an Imperium. And you do stupid stuff like that, consequences happen. It's karma. Eventually, I think going into War Games, so leading up to War Games, I think you're going to eventually see Paul Heyman come back. And rumor on the street is Estrada, formerly known as the late great Umaga's manager, is going to be the manager for this new Rogue Bloodline. So you're going to have Estrada coming out with the suit, the glasses, and the cigar. And I think eventually you're going to see Paul Heyman back with Roman Reigns. And then on top of that, Roman Reigns is, what I think he's going to do is he's going to go make up with Jimmy and Jay. So eventually you're going to see the Usos. But who's to say who's going to be on his team for War Games? Judging by the history he has with Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, the history he's got with Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, those are some names getting thrown in the mix to be a part of War Games for Team Roman Reigns. I mean, Sami made amends with Jay. Orton made amends with Jay. Owens made amends with Jay. Does it happen with Jimmy and Roman? Who's to say? But Solo Sikoa, in my opinion, I think he was a better character in NXT when he was down in NXT. And the way they're moving him right now is just knock off Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. And it's kind of stale right now. I mean, I like the aggressiveness that he's pushing with this new bloodline, but the whole coming out, dressing like Scarface, I'm not feeling that. Dude coming out to the ring trying to be Tony Montana. He needs, and then on top of that, they're literally using Solo's entrance music for this new bloodline. They need to come up with their own entrance. Not only that, but the tag team of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. They don't even have a Titantron for that tag team. They don't even have like a tag team song together. They're using Tama Tonga's music in Titantron. So I mean it's not all there with this new bloodline. They're still trying to put pieces together. And for what I'm seeing, they're like way ahead of themselves. They need to focus on getting that stuff down, and maybe I'll take them a little bit more serious. The only one I'm really taking serious on this new bloodline is Jacob Fatu. Hell of a competitor, hell of a wrestler. I think he's the it factor for this new bloodline. And on top of that, I'm gonna say the Guerrillas of Destiny, GOD, formerly known in WWE as Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. So I think what needs to happen is after this bad blood thing, I'd like to see Solo versus Roman one-on-one before War Games. But if they do have it one-on-one, you already know that it's going to be uneven with the numbers game, because as soon as something goes wrong, Bloodline's going to come storming out. They're going to beat the crap out of Roman. And it's basically what they're doing right now on SmackDown. Every time Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton are out there, they somehow get attracted to it. They come out, have to interrupt. Or, when one of them's by themselves, they got to come out and attack them. So I'm hoping that Roman and Cody get the W. And then this sets off for a much needed War Games match between this new bloodline and Roman Reigns. And then I think after War Games, you're going to have Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes in Las Vegas for the WWE Undisputed Championship. So Roman's going to get his rematch, but I think it's going to be on the grandest stage, WrestleMania. That's my prediction. I think you'll see Gunther, if he does hold on to this belt going forward past War Games. I think Gunther defends his World Heavyweight Championship in Elimination Chamber. I think he defends it in there. If I was Adam Pearce, since he's ducking competition, let that dude start out either 1 or 2, and have all of his competitors in the pods. So I'd have him started off with Sami Zayn. I'd put Seth Rollins, because hopefully Seth Rollins comes comes back by then. So I'd have Seth Rollins in the one of the pods, Damian Priest in one of the pods. Maybe at this point you have Braun Breaker going for the World Heavyweight Championship, so I'd put him in the pod. I mean, he's one of the fastest young rising stars right now. He's an absolute beast. The dude's got freak athleticism. So I'd put him in there. And then I'd say for the final one, I'd have to put either CM Punk or Drew McIntyre. But if Braun's not in there, I'd go with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk for those last two spots. Which I think that would be a stacked Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that would literally steal the show. Have that match as the main event. And I think for this United States Championship, I would love to see Andrade beat LA Knight. I like LA Knight, but I think if you want to have like a good rivalry like we've seen over the years, like with John Cena and some of the rivalries he's had, like with Edge, Triple H, Randy Orton, I think you give him a really good story and a rivalry with Andrade. I would love him and Andrade to have like a storied rivalry going forward. And then you have them two duke it out in a TLC match or just a standard ladder match, like a good old fashioned Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels style match. And for this women's division, I think it's only a matter of time before Becky Lynch comes back, Alexa Bliss comes back. I think Alexa Bliss makes up to be the sixth member of the Wyatt Six. So I think you will have two females part of Wyatt Six, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Becky Lynch ends up coming back. Charlotte will end up being back. And I think that's gonna boost both SmackDown's women division and Raw's. And I think at this point, Becky goes to SmackDown, and I see Becky going after Nia Jax. Remember, Becky's the one that had got into it and had that heated rivalry with Nia Jax. So I think that opens the door for that to come back together. And I think you have Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. I see that happening again. Unless Liv's still champ at this time, I could see the triple threat match: Charlotte Flair, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. Otherwise, if Rhea's got the belt, I see it Rhea and Charlotte. And I think eventually you're gonna see WWE's gonna come out with mid-card titles for the women's divisions. You're gonna see a women's United States belt. You're gonna see a women's Intercontinental Championship belt. I see Tiffany Stratton cashing in on Nia Jax after what happened last night on SmackDown when Nia Jax choked her out. After that segment, let me know if there's going to be a turn coming. Could be a backstabbing at Bad Blood. One team, I should say team, faction, whatever they are right now, not really a fan of, and that's American Made. So we got literally the Team Angle knockoff right now, which is literally the Wish version of Team Angle. I think the only people holding that up are the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile. I like Chad Gable as a competitor. I think he just needs to be solo, in my opinion. Let this dude work solo. I think he's much better on his own. He was a great tag team competitor back when he did have Jason Jordan when they were American Alpha, and that took a turn for the worst after Jason Jordan got injured. And I think he needs to go off and do solo. He needs to be a single competitor. Enough of this, him trying to make families. So I think Bo Dallas is eventually going to fucking put him into oblivion. I don't think American Made comes out scathed from this rivalry with Wyatt Six. And this whole Alpha Academy leftovers. At this point, they need to do something with Otis. Okay, because having him with Tozawa and Maxine, I'm sorry, but it's not it. Having him being in a group with a bunch of jobbers and pretty much having Otis as a jobber right now, I don't like it at all. I am very excited for this last man standing match. We're finally getting this intensity that I've been looking for out of Braun Strowman, and him bringing it to the big guy, Bronson Reed. I think this is going to be an epic match for the ages between two big guys. Two monsters clashing. They've already wreaked havoc on each other backstage, within the ring. I think it's only matter of time before you actually do see Strowman or Reed suplex one, like vice versa. So one of them is going to suplex the other, superplex, and I think you're going to have another ring implosion. Kind of like they show Mark Henry, like Brock Lesnar, Big Show. It's only a matter of time. You guys can support Mike the Bear Fan by sending him stars. Stars help Mike earn money and to make more content. And for all those Packer fans that are watching, subscribe to Build a Packer Fans YouTube channel for exclusive Packer content. And for any Viking fans watching, you guys can go check out Skull Gang 365 on the Hollow Sports Network. It's a football group dedicated to Viking fans. And also, you guys can check out the Skull Gang 365 podcast, which airs tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Huddle Sports Network on Roku tonight. And there's also a page dedicated to Skull Gang 365 on Facebook. So for all you Viking fans, guys can give it a go. And you guys can also check out another Vikings page. You guys can also check out Sir Rocker VWO on Twitter. And after this show is done, here at noon, you guys can check out the Valhalla Hour, which is a Viking show, which airs in the afternoon. So on Saturdays, Viking fans, you get a double dose of Vikings football. Get Valhalla Hour in the afternoon, and you get Skull Gang 365 at the night hours. Right now in AEW, they're having a great story right now between Will Ospreay and Ricochet. Two guys that I think, respect each other a lot. I think this is eventually going to lead up to Will Ospreay defending his title against Ricochet. I think it's going to be a match for the ages. And I think it's going to uplift AEW because right now, AEW is not looking so hot. I mean, I recently attended AEW Collision. It was here in Sioux Falls. It was all right. Met some cool wrestlers, but at like a gate standpoint, there wasn't a lot of people there. They didn't really have a packed arena like WWE does. So I think right now WWE's winning when it comes to attendance. And it's not a surprise there. I just think AEW's got to continue to progress to what they were when they first started their promotion. I think they need to get back to that level. And on top of that, I think, get some more viewership too. And I think, they need to make more better, interesting stories too between the wrestlers. Some interesting feuds. Their video game I thought was trash when that came out. WWE's got them beat in video games too. So I think they need to stick to what they're doing with having people come over from New Japan and wherever else come over. But I think they need to go back to their roots. TNA's partnership with WWE, I think it was a great idea. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think it helps TNA tremendously to try to get their name back out there and get the viewership, get the attendance. The partnership with WWE also helps NXT. So having NXT competing TNA and having TNA compete in NXT, I think helps both. But I think going forward, once TNA's at that level they want to be at, and they got the viewership and they got everything they want, I think you'll eventually see more TNA talent show up on the main roster, not just at Royal Rumble. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a little bit. And here's some words from our sponsor from Huddle Sports Network.
Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MM The nightly podcasts are Hallis Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
Welcome back. Welcome back, WWE loyalists. Welcome back to Shield TV. I think going into Bad Blood, I think this is going to be the end of the feud between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, honestly. They've been going at it for a while now, and it was projected that it was going to be ended in Hell in a Cell. And so finally we're getting these two inside Hell in a Cell. I mean, it's been, 10 years now that CM Punk's been in Hell in a Cell. People were telling him not to do this match because of his age and the injuries he's had already. His wife was one of the people that were telling him. Paul Heyman, his good friend, was telling him not to be in this match. So I think what this does, it helps elevate Drew McIntyre, and this helps get CM Punk back on the track to winning another title in WWE. So I think this is good for both men. This is a good situation at the right time, in my opinion, with this. This has the makings of, in my opinion, like it kind of feels like Mick Foley and Edge. With CM Punk being Mick Foley and McIntyre being Edge. This is what it kind of feels like. But the intensity is way, way, way more up than what it was between Mick Foley and Edge, in my opinion. So I think this match is going to be brutal. I think you're going to see a lot of bloodshed in this match. I think it's going to be everything off limits. I think they're going to use anything and everything they can. Now, do I think they're going to climb up to the Hell in a Cell, fight on top of the cell, throw somebody off, somebody get thrown off? I don't know. Does somebody go through the announce table? Probably. I think somebody will go through the announce table. I think, get out of the Hell in a Cell. I don't think they climb up. But I think what happens, somebody goes through the table. And I think this match spills out into the WWE Universe, which it's no disqualification. Pretty sure there's not a time limit. So I think you're going to have a Hell in a Cell for the ages at Bad Blood. And all this is telling me and telling WWE Universe, it's only going to get better from here once WWE goes to Netflix. You're going to have more intense matches. You're going to have better matches. The PLEs are going to be great going forward. I think, you're going to have great storylines. You're going to have more talent being brought in that is on the same level as our top performers. I think you're going to see more top performers coming in and wanting to be a part of Netflix and being a part of WWE and being part of everything that's going on right now with what Triple H and Shawn Michaels are doing with the company. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's doing a phenomenal job. He's part of the board of directors at TKO. So last year when he had that segment with Seth Rollins, in my opinion, it kind of gave me the vibes like he was Vince McMahon and he was saying this to Seth Rollins. Like Seth Rollins was a champion, and it was like Seth Rollins was like a young Triple H. Before Triple H became the CEO, I'm going to say that it almost looked like DX Triple H and The Rock looking at him like he was Vince McMahon. Basically saying he's the boss and he can do whatever he wants. And Seth has to obey what he says because he's the boss. So I think when Rock makes his return, I think it's going to be known that he's the mastermind behind this new bloodline. So I think it's going to further and further amp things up in WWE, and it's going to be what everybody wants to see. More entertaining stories, more entertaining matches. All it's going to do is boost ratings and viewership up even more once this all goes down. Watching the behind the scenes of WrestleMania from last year with The Rock, him and Triple H did a really, really nice job with WrestleMania, leading up to WrestleMania. Did an awesome job. And I think it's going to get even better in the future from here on out. And I think eventually, you're gonna see more out of the women's division. I think they're going to be breaking more and more barriers for female athletes within the wrestling business. I think it's going to be better than the women's revolution. You're going to see some phenomenal things happen within the women's tag team division. And if they're talking about bringing trios titles, so instead of having the traditional tag team, you're going to add in another belt. So it's going to be the trios. You're going to have tag teams 3 on 3. So you're going to have maybe the women's division gets trio titles, and that would be a first for me anyway. I don't know if they have that out there. Could be wrong. I don't know. And the men are going to get a trios belt, which I'd enjoy that. So you'd have Bloodline versus who, say, OC, Judgment Day, competing for the trios titles. That also I think would help boost ratings. That's going to boost attendance, going to boost viewership, and not only that, you're going to have spikes in merchandise sales as well with WWE. Right now, Jey Uso is still selling hella merchandise because right now he's the biggest baby face right now, and he just won the championship, and it's going to skyrocket from there. His merch going to keep going up. I said it in the beginning of the show. I'm going to say it again. Congratulations to you, Uso. You deserve that championship. You deserve to be a singles champion. Now I want to see Jey Uso go after the World Heavyweight Championship. Champion, maybe a champion versus champion match. Jey Uso and Gunther. That'd be a first. But I think eventually Jey Uso is gonna climb that mountain, and I think eventually he's gonna be World Heavyweight Champion. If he's got to win Money in the Bank this summer, I think he's gonna win Money in the Bank, and from there on, I think he cashes in. I think he takes the belt off Gunther, and he becomes World Heavyweight Champion. And Gunther, I think what will happen with Gunther is I think he goes on and I think he fights for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And, eventually he becomes a Grand Slam champion. Eventually he takes the United States title as well. So all this is doing is making these guys better than what they were. So you got Braun Breaker going into better situation after this rivalry with Jey Uso. So after that's done, I think you see him go after the World Heavyweight Championship. If he does go to SmackDown, you see him get into it with LA Knight after the US Championship. Hell, even he goes after, say, Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns beats Cody Rhodes. See him go after that WWE Undisputed Championship. So I think right now with what they got in place with the talent, sky's the limit right now for these guys and gals. Sky's the limit. I think the next superstar or gal that's going to be on the rise is Tiffany Stratton. I said it in the beginning. I'll say it again. I think she takes the belt off of Nia Jax. After what I witnessed last night, I think she takes the belt off Nia Jax. But I think first what happens is she sticks her nose into Nia Jax's match and costs her the belt against her opponent. So I think you're going to have Tiffany cost her the match. Then I think Nia wins the belt back. And then she has another match. And then that's when Tiffany Stratton cashes in. Or she cashes in at Bad Blood, which I could see that happening. It would be epic. I think the whole roof would go unglued. And I think what's going to happen eventually is you're going to see Jade Cargill go after one of the women's belts. Hell, you're probably going to see Bianca get back in the singles title picture eventually as well. But I think bringing a woman like Naomi back, I think helps the women's division. She's a veteran. You're seeing now that Natalia's back, which having more veteran experience in the locker room, I think helps out a lot with this young roster that WWE's got. Having veterans that have been around for a while helps out a lot with these young performers. And it helps keep the locker room in a straight and narrow. But one gal that I want to see get more opportunities, and I think she needs to get more opportunities, is Tegan Nox. She's a hell of a performer, hell of a competitor. I think eventually you might see her back in NXT, or you're going to have her getting in the mix of things on Raw. But I think sky's the limit for these performers. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday afternoon. A lot of college football is going to be on today. Hope all you college football fans have a blessed day, and I hope best of luck to your teams. I'm very, very excited for more wrestling on CW. I think it was a great idea that WWE is putting things on CW. So you're going to have wrestling on a local network. I think it helps out a lot. And having WWE go to Netflix is going to help too. But right now, having Raw and SmackDown on USA before the transition to Netflix, it's going to be epic. All right, everyone. So we're getting close to that hour. We're about to start wrapping things up, and I'd like for everybody to give a like and a follow to me, Darren Ryan, on Facebook. Check me out there. You can check out some of my podcasts. Otherwise, I'll be seeing all you cool cats and gals next Saturday at 11 p.m. Central, at 11 a.m. My bad, my apologies. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So you can catch me back here with Shield TV on Saturday afternoons.
Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Hallis Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe,